The church bells echoed through the hall. Guests whispered as the groom, Robert, stood proudly at the altar. His suit was crisp. His eyes glowed with hope. The bride, Vanessa, entered. Her dress shimmered under the golden light of the chandeliers. The music swelled. Everyone rose to their feet. But then a sharp voice cut through the melody. "Stop!" It was Daniel, Robert's 12-year-old son. The entire hall froze. Gasps filled the air. Daniel ran down the aisle, his small hands shaking, his face pale. His heart pounded so loudly he thought the world could hear it. He pointed at the bride. Tears welled in his eyes. "She is lying to you, Dad." The silence grew unbearable. The priest lowered his book. Vanessa's smile cracked for a second. Her eyes darted nervously across the crowd. Robert frowned. Confusion clouded his joy. "What do you mean, Daniel?" His voice was low, cautious. Daniel's breathing quickened. He pulled out a folded paper from his pocket. The sound of the paper crinkling echoed in the heavy silence. "I saw her last night," Daniel said, his voice trembling but firm. "She was with another man." The hall erupted in shocked murmurs. Guests turned their heads, whispering in disbelief. Robert's hands clenched. His chest rose and fell with growing fury. Vanessa stepped forward, her voice sharp. "He is just a child. He is confused." But Daniel shook his head. "No, I saw her. I followed her." The boy held up the paper. It was a photograph. The image showed Vanessa. She was holding hands with a man who was not Robert. Robert's face drained of color. His jaw tightened. The air felt heavy. The chandeliers flickered as if the building itself reacted to the tension. Vanessa reached forward. "Robert, I can explain." But Robert pulled back. His voice thundered through the church. "You betrayed me on the eve of our wedding." The crowd gasped again. Some covered their mouths. Daniel felt his stomach twist, but he stood tall beside his father. Robert turned to the guests. His voice was steady but laced with fury. "Call the police, now!" Vanessa's face turned pale. She stumbled backward, her veil trembling. The guests stared, frozen in shock. Daniel felt his father's hand rest firmly on his shoulder. It was heavy, protective, and filled with gratitude. But the sound of hurried footsteps at the back of the church made everyone turn. Another man had just entered. His face was familiar to some, and his eyes were locked on Vanessa. The man stepped into the light. His suit was dark. His expression was grim. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Vanessa froze. Her lips parted, but no words came out. Robert narrowed his eyes. "Who are you?" The man glanced at Daniel, then at Vanessa. His jaw clenched. "My name is Mark." His voice was low, steady. "And I am the man she has been seeing." The church erupted in chaos. Guests shouted. Some stood in disbelief. Vanessa's face turned white. Her hands trembled as she clutched her bouquet. Robert's chest tightened. His world felt as if it was collapsing around him. Mark stepped forward. "She promised me she would leave him. She promised we would run away together." The priest lowered his head. The guests stared in silence, waiting for Robert's reaction. Robert's fists shook. The veins in his neck bulged with anger. Daniel clung to his father's arm. His small voice whispered, "Dad." "Please believe me," Robert nodded firmly. "I believe you, son." He turned back to Vanessa. His voice thundered. "You lied to me. You lied to everyone here." Vanessa dropped her bouquet. The flowers scattered across the floor. Her knees wobbled. Her eyes darted toward the door. She made a sudden move. But Robert's command was sharp and loud. "Police! Stop her now!" Two officers, already near the entrance, rushed forward. They blocked her path. Vanessa's mask of innocence shattered. Her voice turned desperate, pleading. "Robert, wait! You do not understand!" But the truth was already out. The crowd's eyes burned with judgment. Daniel could feel the tension shift. The hall, once filled with music and joy, now pulsed with fear and betrayal. Vanessa's secret had exploded like glass shattering on stone. But no one expected what would happen next. Mark suddenly shouted, "She is hiding more than this!" The entire church went silent again. Even the police paused. Robert's eyes widened. Daniel's heart raced faster. "What do you mean?" Robert demanded. Mark hesitated. Then slowly he revealed a small black envelope from his jacket. "This will explain everything." The black envelope shook in Mark's hand. The crowd leaned closer, holding their breath. Robert's voice was firm. "Open it." Mark pulled out a set of documents. The papers crackled as he unfolded them. He lifted his voice so everyone could hear. "These are contracts. Vanessa was planning to take control of Robert's company once they married." Gasps filled the church. Eyes widened in shock. "She was never here for love," Mark continued. "She was here for his fortune." Robert's knees weakened, but his anger kept him standing tall. His chest burned with betrayal. Vanessa's voice cracked. "It is not what it looks like." "I was forced." But her excuses drowned under the weight of silence. The guest's eyes told her no one believed her anymore. The officers stepped forward. Their handcuffs glinted under the light. Robert lifted his hand, signaling. "Take her away," Vanessa screamed, but her voice echoed hollow against the stone walls. Her veil dragged behind her as the police led her out of the church. Mark lowered his head, ashamed. "I was a fool to believe her promises." "I am sorry." Robert said nothing. His eyes were fixed on Daniel. The boy looked up, uncertain. But then his father knelt, gripping his shoulders tightly. "You saved me, son." His voice cracked with emotion. "I will never forget this." Tears welled in Daniel's eyes. For the first time, he felt the strength of his father's trust wrap around him like a shield. The guests applauded softly, not out of joy, but out of respect. Respect for a boy who had the courage to speak the truth. The wedding was over. But something stronger had been sealed that day, not a marriage of lies, but a bond of father and son, unbroken and unshakable. And as the church doors closed behind them, Robert whispered to Daniel, "This was not the wedding I planned, but it was the beginning of a new life for both of us."